I was in California here in June and July, and our granddaughter came to stay with us for a month or so, and she asked if I would take her on a backpack trip, and she forgets how old I am. And when you get into the Sierras and you start climbing those hills, it's pretty much straight up. And but I said yes. So I made up a couple of backpacks, and a few days later we headed out to the mountains. And I gave her instructions about dangerous things that we might see, bears, whatever, and what to do and all that. But when you take a young girl like that, or a young boy, and they see those trails, boy, they're itching to go. And I knew I wasn't going to be able to keep up. The first 10 steps we took, I knew it. So I let her go. And we climbed and we climbed and we climbed. I used to do this when I was a young man. I used to love to go overnight, take a backpack and spend 2-3 days up in the mountains just fishing and looking up at the stars. But I didn't know the Lord then. And this little trip that we took this time was just a little bit different. And I told her, that there's a beautiful lake up there. This is one lake I had not been to, but all my friends told me that if I ever go, I need to go see this lake and see this, the beauty of it. So we climbed and we climbed and we climbed. And of course, she beat me there. It was probably an hour before I got there. But I got up there, and I think I sat on every big rock I could see. We got there, and we come around this corner, and we looked out, and we saw the lake, and it looked like it was sparkling with diamonds in it. We looked down in this valley, and we walked through the flowers. We saw flowers that I have never seen before. They looked like bells, identical to little bells, red, blue, different colors. The flowers were incredible. It was like God painted a picture for us. And we sat on that rock and we looked out over that lake. It was so peaceful. The clouds, the water, the snow up on the hills, and the water running down. And I thought to myself, when I was younger, and I used to do this in mountain climbing and that, I never saw God. I knew Mother Earth. I knew all these other things, but I didn't know God. But that day sitting on that rock, when I looked down into those flowers, I knew I was in the presence of Jesus, of the Lord. There was such a peace that came over us as we sat there. If you have never been in the Sierras or up in those beautiful lakes, oh, if you ever get the chance to do it, it is beautiful. You'll never forget it. But isn't it funny? Back in those days when I was young, I didn't believe in God. And there's so many people out there. And it is so evident. Every day, He shows us His power. The sun rises and it goes down. The moon, all of these things is evidence of God. And the stars in heaven. But yet, if God is dead, whose is living in my soul?
He'll gladly fill
He gives us
From
shelter
life's stormy weather.
from life's stormy weather.
Gives us love
And He gives us love
to keep us together.
and keeps us together.
When life gets light,
When life gets light,
oh, a ship
like an old ship
on a raging sea.
on a raging sea. Oh, yes.
And when the state
And when the state
of life grows cold,
life grows
oh,
cold,
somebody helps us.
somebody up there is going to help us.
Play our role.
Oh, yes.
If God is dead,
If God is dead,
who's this
Who's this living?
in my soul?
in my soul, in my soul.